Hello from Cards Camp. Once again, Rich Gray alongside Bob Kemp and Ed Cole for NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 and NBCSports1060.com. Another Cards Camp report, and unfortunately, we start off the Cards Camp report again with another injury. Just like it looked like we were getting out of the woods with those injuries, Mike Iupati left the field early, and no word on the severity of the injury, but obviously that's not good.
Yeah, he walked off with a trainer. Like you mentioned, no word right now. So I'm sure Ed will have something later if there's any word later on the website, obviously. But I didn't see him leave. I noticed he was out there early, and then I kind of noticed Ted Larson's at guard.
Yeah.
And that kind of sticks out. So we'll find out. But basically, they haven't had one practice where everybody's actually been out there simultaneous. But it kind of put a little damper on the day when Chris Johnson was out there and David Johnson was out there, and you got an update on the participants.
Yeah. It's actually a lot less checks.
Yes.
Robert Crisp, Michael Floyd, Jonte Green, Shaq Riddick. Then we go to the W's. Zach Wagaman's going to have a foot surgery. Sean Weatherspoon and Darren Woodard. That's it. So they're getting lighter on the injuries, but Iupati's not a good one.
No, not at all. And so the Johnsons were out there. Chris Johnson had a little trouble catching the ball. I don't know if he's been playing catch lately, but needless to say, he was kind of figuring out where he's supposed to line up, and he ran a little bit with the ones when Ellington was actually playing a little slot receiver today, which I hadn't seen before today. So he did that, and then Palmer was kind of, when he was running with the ones, Palmer was kind of instructing him where to go, and it was actually pretty cool to see, really.
It's funny, both of the Johnsons needed some instruction, didn't they?
Yes, so Mr. Stanton did that. He kind of gave him a little love tap on the helmet when he lined up where David Johnson lined up wrong. Yeah.
About that hard?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't smack him. He just kind of gave him a little love tap.
I'm going to switch you spots next time.
Yeah. So that's just hey, we have the opportunity to give demonstrations here. So
sure.
There you go. But and Johnson, he was going full bore. I thought at first maybe he wasn't, but
Chris or David?
David.
Yeah, yes, he was.
And I think he kind of started a little slow. There was a sweep and the same drill that he got hurt on the same part of the field early in practice, and I thought he was kind of gliding at that during that play. That's almost exactly the same spot on the field where he pulled up on the second day of practice. But later in the practice, including a wheel route, easy for me to say, he made that's a long pattern. That's 40-yard pattern roughly.
Yeah.
And Stan made a perfect throw, and he was right there and made the catch. And so that was full bore. So that kind of ended my questions of whether he was just kind of gliding through and working his way back in or not.
And those are the things that happens when you're not in practice. You take all the mental reps you want, but when you get out there, it's a totally different thing.
Exactly. Now, not only with the running backs back, but with Iupati being gone, I mean, that also further questions what are the Cardinals going to do with shake up the line a little bit. They were already trying to do that with Bobby Massie. Yeah,
he's just running with the threes basically the last 2 days, and sometimes yesterday not even with the threes. But today, as far as I could tell, and we're expecting, a suspension, and there's nothing official now because he's at this point because he's supposedly appealing whatever the suspension is. Reportedly 3 games. So the last 2 days we've seen Bradley Sowell at right tackle with the ones and Humphreys with the twos, and basically Massie's running with the threes, if that. So that's, I'm sure, in preparation of the eventual
suspension.
Yeah, that's a good word. Pending,
yeah.
Excellent word, very nice. Pending suspension. So they're just kind of just a preparation type of thing, I'm guessing. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually follows through on Saturday.
And we talked to Sowell after practice today, and he said he's comfortable. He's been in this offense for a while, so that'll make the transition a little bit easier. But it's still not having Bobby Massie, and it's like you said, it's more hodgepodge on the offensive line.
Well, unfortunately, when we've seen Sal with the ones before, he's been a turnstile. So, and he was a couple plays today. So we'll see what happens once the season starts. And the Saints have pass rushers.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, Cardinals are familiar with that too. So what else kind of stood out in practice for you today?
I think this is going to be really interesting. In fact, I'm just going to go back and write about this when we're done for the website update. I think it's going to be, we were talking about this on the sideline a little bit, there's a few guys I don't quite figure out how they fit in here, mainly defensive linemen because there's a lot of good ones, and mainly inside linebackers because there aren't any good ones. I don't even know if Kevin Minner's any good or not. But, he's the one guy that's out there. Today they ran, for the second straight day, a lot of 4 defensive linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and only Minter as a, quote, linebacker. And then they had 4 defensive backs with Buchanan, one of them, and him kind of hanging around in a linebacker possession. So, I think they realize that they're trying. It's kind of weird. You always hear the term to get the best 11 on the field. That's usually offensively. This is, I think they're just trying to figure out between the, front 7, how can we get the best 7 guys out there?
Right.
And that would be only one linebacker at this point, because I don't know if you can count on Weatherspoon or not. I mean, you got to get him out of there. It's the dress rehearsal for the game is next week, but the dress rehearsal for practice is also next week. You're just not going to show up for the game in game 3 and say, "Hey, here I am." So it's this is becoming disturbing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And then you're trying to work in Frosty Rucker. You're trying to work in Corey Peters, Calais Campbell, Josh Morrow. They're doing all these different.
Redding's the guy I can't figure out quite where he fits. I mean, I think we're pretty sure at this point. Maybe I should lighten up on that phrase a little bit, but somewhat sure that Shaughnessy and Te'amu are on the bubble on the wrong side of it. In fact, to the point where I wrote yesterday, maybe they could actually trade those guys before they would have to make a move, because there just doesn't seem to be any place. Te'amu's practicing with the 4s at the end of practice today. That's not a good sign. So, I think that but I don't know where Redding fits in. I mean, because definitely Gunter's going to be on his team, and he's running with the 1 someday.
Right, and they like Xavier Williams. They're working him at defensive end. So if a rookie,
he's going to be a practice squad guy probably, but
possibly.
I could still see that. But I mean, it's there's just not enough. There's too many good players, quite frankly,
and not enough spots.
Right. So that's going to be something to really pay. And it changes every day on the on-field depth chart. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, they have different guys in different units, and certainly the Saturday night game, a couple of linebackers who were 2s are not anywhere to be found at this point on really much in practice. So that's a rotating thing too. But that's that interior defense, the 3 down linemen and the 2 inside linebackers. That's going to be an interesting situation.
It is.
And I'm not sure if it's a good thing as far as certainly the linebackers.
Well, it's definitely some things to pay attention to. Again, if anything happens breaking news-wise as far as Iupati's injury, Ed will be on top of that tonight on the website.
Closer drive home if you have to get to the computer.
Yes, much closer.
That's very true. So keep tuning into NBCSports1060.com for continuing Cards Camp coverage.
One more thing. Justin Bethel made a play today.
Oh, there you go.
I had to make sure I mentioned that because I've said for 2 years I've never seen him make a play. And actually, truth be told, I missed this one. But I heard it. I heard the pick, and then so he intercepted a pass of Palmer today. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. And Joni Jefferson picked for 2 straight days.
Yep.
And Shaquille Richardson, that must have been real early. Got a pick, and I'm guessing that was Sims, because Richardson's with the last unit.
Yeah, that would be Philip Sims. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, those were the picks.
Jerron Brown looked good to me today. He's making amends for his mistake on Saturday with the interception. So he's trying to work his way back out of Bruce Arians' doghouse.
Yeah, Jerron Brown. Yeah. So, but I wanted to make sure I pointed out that Bethel made a play.
All right, there we go. So Bob and I will be out at the Nest Sports Bar and Grill, 95th Avenue in Camelback tomorrow and Thursday, and then the Cardinals taking on the Chargers.
Maybe.
And Saturday,
well,
maybe.
You'll all be there.
Yeah, we'll be there.
My
for
people.
Sure. Yeah, so to be determined on Bob with his people and all that. So for Bob Kemp and Ed Cole,
we're working on it.
This has been another Cards Camp Report on NBCSports1060.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow.